What surprises most outsiders is that Amish greenhouses are not the glossy, plastic, store-bought structures you see in modern gardening shops. They are often built from nothing but leftover lumber, discarded windows from English, non-Amish homes, old storm doors, mismatched glass panes, and even broken barn boards that would normally be thrown away. The Amish philosophy of no waste shapes everything they build, and a greenhouse is the perfect example. Instead of ordering materials, they quietly scan auctions, abandoned barns, and renovation sites where people beg contractors to remove old window frames and roofing sheets. To the English, these are trash. To the Amish, they are free walls, free insulation, and free sunlight panels. A typical Amish family will collect windows for months and stack them carefully in the barn, each piece waiting to become a free greenhouse wall that costs absolutely nothing but time and teamwork. The Amish also build their greenhouse frames using timber that comes from the edges of their own mills, pieces that are too warped or uneven to sell commercially, but strong enough to become structural supports. Nothing is wasted, not even crooked boards. Fathers and sons shave, straighten, and repurpose those pieces until they can interlock like puzzle parts. And because Amish carpentry is extremely precise, even recycled, imperfect wood becomes a durable foundation that can last 30 years. What makes their system even more brilliant is the fact that they position the greenhouse frame in a way that uses nature, not money, to maximize heat. The front wall always faces south, capturing every ray of sun even on the coldest January morning. The north wall, the coldest side, is often built with solid wood instead of glass to keep heat from escaping. Another secret is that the Amish never pour expensive concrete floors. They use the earth itself. Soil floors absorb the sun's warmth during the day and release it slowly at night, creating a natural heating system known as thermal mass. Sometimes they add dark stones or bricks salvaged from demolished buildings, again, free materials. These stones store even more heat and act almost like tiny radiators. Many modern gardeners spend money on heating cables or electric warming mats, but Amish greenhouses rely on nature's physics. Even their ventilation is free. They build small upper windows that can be opened with simple wooden latches, allowing hot air to escape naturally without electric fans. By relying on free materials, intelligent orientation, and natural heat cycles, the Amish create greenhouses that work year-round with nearly zero cost. Every part of the structure reflects their belief that skill matters more than money and that nature provides more energy than any electrical system ever could. This is why an Amish farmer can grow lettuce and spinach when the outside world is frozen solid. Their greenhouse is not just a building, it is a living, breathing system powered entirely by sunlight, soil, and craftsmanship. One of the greatest secrets behind Amish greenhouses is that they are often heated without a single electrical wire, propane tank, or paid energy source. Instead, they use one of the oldest and most reliable heat sources on Earth: decomposition. When organic matter breaks down, such as manure, straw, grass clippings, horse bedding, or wood chips, it releases a tremendous amount of heat. The Amish have mastered this natural process and turned it into a free heating system that keeps their greenhouses warm even when the outside temperature drops below freezing. Many Amish families build their greenhouse floors on a thick bed of composting material. As it decomposes slowly, the compost generates a steady stream of warmth that rises upward and creates a microclimate ideal for winter crops. But they don't stop there. In winter, the Amish often dig shallow trenches inside the greenhouse and fill them with fresh horse manure mixed with straw, materials they already have in abundance. This mixture produces heat for weeks, almost like a natural radiator under the soil. Plants growing above these trenches stay warm from below, protected against frost, even when snow piles up outside. This old technique, known historically as a hotbed, allows Amish families to germinate seeds earlier in spring and keep vegetables alive through harsh winters. Modern growers spend thousands on heated grow mats and industrial soil warmers, yet the Amish are doing the same thing using nothing but biology. Another brilliant heat hack is the use of dark-colored stones, bricks, or even metal scraps placed along the greenhouse walls. These materials absorb heat from the sun all day and release it slowly through the night. Amish farmers often take old bricks from demolished chimneys, leftover roofing metal, or even broken black tiles, anything that can hold warmth, and repurpose them as low-cost thermal batteries. The darker the material, the more heat it absorbs. When placed strategically around plant beds, these stones can raise nighttime temperatures by several degrees, making the greenhouse much more stable without mechanical heating. To enhance this natural heating, the Amish design their greenhouses with low ceilings and tight structures that trap warm air. The smaller the air volume, the easier it is to keep warm without fuel. They also line the interior north wall with reflective materials, sometimes even scraps of aluminum or shiny metal roofing, to bounce sunlight deeper into the greenhouse. This increases light exposure while warming the soil, creating another layer of free energy. Even in the coldest parts of Pennsylvania or Ohio, Amish families can grow lettuce, herbs, carrots, beets, and spinach all winter using nothing but the heat from compost, stone, sunlight, and tight insulation. Their entire system proves that efficiency is not about owning the best technology. It's about understanding how nature wants to work. One of the most powerful Amish greenhouse hacks is something that costs absolutely nothing because it uses the ground itself as insulation. Instead of building a greenhouse entirely above surface level like modern gardeners do, many Amish families partially sink their greenhouse into the earth. Even lowering the floor by just 2 or 3 feet makes a massive difference in winter, because underground temperatures stay far warmer than the air above. The soil acts like a thick natural blanket that traps geothermal heat. This method, inspired by centuries-old techniques from mountain farmers in Europe, allows the Amish to grow winter crops in places where the ground outside may be frozen solid. The Amish also use earth-berms, large mounds of soil piled along the outside walls. When placed on the north and west sides, these soil mounds block cold winds and insulate the greenhouse walls. Since Amish families often dig their own post holes, trenches, or foundations, they naturally end up with excess soil, and instead of dumping it, they strategically pack it against the structure. Soil is free, abundant, and one of the best insulators on Earth. These berms not only keep the interior warm, but also stabilize humidity levels. The colder the climate, the higher they stack the berms, sometimes reaching nearly halfway up the side wall. Inside the greenhouse, Amish farmers use narrow trenches in the soil to create controlled airflow and warmth. These trenches act like natural channels where warm composting material or decomposing straw can be placed. As the material breaks down, heat slowly rises from below, keeping root zones warm during bitter nights. Even if the outside temperature drops dangerously low, the soil above the trench stays soft and unfrozen, allowing plants to thrive. Some Amish even cover these trenches with old wooden boards or broken roof panels, creating little underground heat tunnels that warm the beds from the bottom up. This method works so well that seeds germinate weeks earlier compared to outdoor planting. While modern gardeners often place greenhouses in random corners of the yard, Amish farmers follow a strict rule. The long front wall of the greenhouse must face true south, not close to south, not roughly southwest, but precisely south. This alignment ensures that the greenhouse absorbs the maximum amount of sunlight during the short, weak days of winter. Even on a cloudy January morning, the greenhouse captures enough diffuse light to raise interior temperatures significantly. But the brilliance doesn't stop at orientation. The Amish often angle the roof at just the right pitch so that winter sunlight strikes it directly instead of bouncing off. They know that the sun sits low in the sky during winter, so they design the roof angle to catch every bit of those shallow rays. A well-angled roof can increase heat gain by up to 20%, all without spending a single dollar on equipment or electronics. And because many Amish greenhouses use old glass windows on their roofs, this design hack allows more light to pass through thick, reclaimed glass than flat panels ever could. One of the most underrated Amish hacks is their use of homemade reflectors to brighten the interior. Instead of buying reflective insulation or fancy grow lights, they repurpose old metal roofing sheets, scraps of aluminum, or even beaten-down silver trays picked up at auctions. These shiny surfaces are mounted on the inside of the north wall, the coldest and darkest side, to reflect sunlight back toward the plants. The result is a surprisingly bright interior that distributes light evenly across all beds. This increased illumination boosts plant growth dramatically during the darkest months of the year when every photon counts. Some Amish even paint wooden boards with lime wash or white clay to create a reflective surface at zero cost. Airflow is another part of their light strategy. Because sunlight heats the air unevenly, Amish farmers create small ventilation openings near the top of the greenhouse to let hot air rise and escape, preventing wilting. These vents are built from leftover hinges, scrap wood, and simple latches. The Amish understand that sunlight is free, but overheating can be deadly. By balancing sunlight capture with controlled ventilation, they achieve a stable growing environment using nothing but engineering logic and common sense. The Amish treat sunlight as a resource that must be harvested with the same precision as crops, and by combining perfect orientation, angled roofing, recycled reflectors, and simple ventilation, they produce greenhouses that behave like natural solar engines. No electricity, no heaters, no artificial lights, just nature, intelligently used. It's a reminder that efficiency is not about expensive upgrades, but about knowing how to work with the world as it already is. A major reason Amish greenhouses work so efficiently, despite being built from recycled or free materials, is their mastery of sunlight. To the Amish, sunlight is not just illumination. It is the primary heat source, the engine of growth, and the difference between thriving winter crops and frozen soil.